but it goes through so many phases and transitions, kind of like how they compose their major boss fight themes and anthems.
This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen.
Song. Hang on, let's give that another listen. There's so much happening that I just had to soak that in. Let's break it down a little bit here. There are a lot of phases in that song, especially for a song that's only like a minute and a half long. They go through a lot of different phases and transitions. Let's break those down.
Go back and hear that tone by itself, and then we'll kind of jump back. Let's see, I'm at 40 seconds, so this was here. It was so woody sounding, so just pure. It just sounded like the sound of wood. I know that's Warwick's slogan, but fretless always just has that kind of vocal expressiveness that you can't get on a fretted bass. And this is going to make me want to get my fretless, or get a fretless again. I'm such an idiot for selling mine.
There is a lot of what makes the song feel so active and make it feel like there's so much movement is there's a ton of rhythm happening. Now, in other videos, we talk about how sometimes they will use non-rhythm instruments to create rhythm whenever they aren't using any sort of percussion so that it sounds less atmospheric and still has a little bit more structure to it. In this song, they're almost doing the opposite by using non-percussion instruments to create rhythm while also using percussion instruments and having a traditional rhythm and percussion backbone to the song. We can hear that right here from the very start. They've got a very straight, it sounds like it's just eighth note bass line on the synth.
It's like when you watch him play, the fretting hand kind of looks like this. He's playing fast, he's playing all over the place, but it's hard to see any movement. And that's really important playing these really technical, precise, fast things, because if you play a scale like this, your fingers are flying out here. That's that much more space you have to cover to come back. And you're usually going to go really fast to get them back, and it's going to really mess with your tone and just your control on the fretboard. So when you watch him play, it's so efficient. There's such little movement, no wasted movement. Super important. Let's keep going. Plucking hand, I almost said right hand technique. He's playing lefty, I suppose, so forgive me if I say that again. His plucking hand technique is very interesting. If you watch my technique, which is pretty standard among other bass players, it's kind of perpendicular to the strings.
We got to go back. There is actually a hi-hat in addition to the little wood block or the clap happening there. There's a hi-hat also not doing just straight eighth notes or even, quarter notes. It's going like 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, 3, something like that. Let's see if we can listen to that in more detail. There's just so much happening. It's hard to follow. I'm going to go back about 10 seconds and just watch his index, middle, and ring plucking fingers. They're kind of on different strings. That's really interesting
it's like almost like finger picking where you dedicate a finger to each string. It's going by so fast. I don't want to slow it down per se. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and slow it down because I definitely want to kind of see what's happening there. Let's see if I can catch it. Perfect example. Look how effortlessly he can go between strings there.
Dang, that is so cool. That's a fun song. That's really different from a lot of the other songs that we've listened to in this little drummer breakdown series that we do. That's on the official release. But it goes through so many phases and transitions, kind of like how they compose their major boss fight themes and anthems.
This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen. This might be the best metal bass player I've ever seen.